Another day, another chance, another way, another dance. I don't know why I keep seeing that, but kudos to that. Today I'll be going over, right, something called like an express project. That's what I'm going to be going over. So, yeah. So, in that project, what I'll be doing is I'll pretty much be going through like reading out like web servers and routers and stuff like that. So it's lesson 8. So it's an express project. So I'm going to be making use of like express. So that's what I'm going to be making use of. Right. So yeah, that's what's going to happen, man. Right. So it's pretty much like setting up an app with express.js. So express.js increases development speed and provides stable structure on which to build applications like Node.js. Express.js offers tools that are open source and managed by a large online community. First, I'll talk about why Express.js is the web framework you should learn. With each passing year, Node.js gains new frameworks, some of which provide convincing reasons to switch to its library. It came out in 2010, and since then, other reliable frameworks have grown in popularity. So you got Node.js frameworks like Koa, .js, Happy, .js, Sales, .js, and Total.js. Ultimately, a framework intended to help, right? Obviously, so a framework is intended, right, to pretty much build a web application like for a web application. So that's what it's intended for. So yeah, and also to overcome some common development challenges in building a web application from scratch. So that's what it is. So let's get to it, man. Main.js. So as you can see here, for main.js, right, we got something called we got something called const port equals 3000, right? So const ports is pretty much the process in which, the const variable is a variable in which, you pretty much, the value that's been set to it can be changed. For example, port, you can't assign port a different variable. You can't assign a different variable to port, otherwise it's going to return an error. So const port, it pretty much it it makes any change, it doesn't it's in such a way that no change is possible. So that's what happens. So const port equals 3000, right? It can happen. So you define the port number the server will listen on. And then import the Express framework, which simplifies creating web service in Node.js. Const express equals require express. initialize, create, and express application, right? So const express equals require express. It initialize, creates and express application. The app objects gives us access to express methods like .get, .post, and etc. The const app equals express, right? So that's what it equals to, right? So then you got define a router handler call for the root URL. Then when a GET request is made to that, this callback function will run app.get request res equals or greater than. Then you can log various request objects for debugging and learning purposes. So console log request that parameters logs and route parameters uses colon ID equals ID. Then console log request body logs the request body usually used in post requests. Then logs the URL part that was requested. Same thing like query logs any query string parameters like name equals John. Then yeah, it just sends a response back to the client. The client, e.g. browser, would see hello universe displayed, result send hello universe, and then start the express server. The app will listen for incoming connections on the specified port 1000. App.listen port greater than equals 2. Then this message confirms the server is running successfully. Console log the express.js server started and is listening on port number port, and then obviously you can take the variable which is port and import it into your string literal. So that's what happens. And obviously, what I did here, get my debug console. What I did was, right, I ran npm init just initialize my project because that's what needs to be done. That's what needs to take place. I need to initialize my project. So npm initial, right? Why is my thing so slow now? Right, okay. So npm initial. Come on now. That's so what npm initial does is it pretty much initializes the dependencies around initialize your project, and also it saves dependencies for your project. So that's what happens. So just save dependencies and then yeah. So obviously name, version, main, script, test, author, license, description, dev dependencies, and so on and so forth. So you got your description, get repository, keywords, license, yada yada yada, and so on and so forth. Right, and then you got your also you pretty much have like your let's see here. So you got something called like npm iExpress. So obviously we're using an Express project, so you need to install something called npm iExpress. So that's what we need to install. So npm iExpress, and then what that does is it gives us node modules, helps us install like node modules and stuff. So you pretty much acquire like node modules, right? And then that's what it signs us. And then also takes those modules and saves them in something called package.log dash log.json. So that's what it does. So it just saves those modules. So it pretty much exports, modules from online, express modules from online, right? So that's what it does. And also this one's optional for my project. npm npm right, http status code dash dot save and etc. so on and so forth. That part is optional. So that's also gonna be saving my package that's log.json. And then about node modules, pretty much everything that I need. It's my node library. It's the biggest node library in the world. It's the biggest library in the world in regards to like stuff that I need. So that's what it is, man. Etta? 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 Yeah, sorry about that, man. Damn it, man. So, right, so yeah, you got that. And then, yeah, so that's what you pretty much have. So that's what you have. And then what you'll do is you take, so yeah, that's what you pretty much have. So what you can do is when you finish with everything, you're gonna run node main.js. That's what you're gonna run. So that's you're gonna run node main.js, right? And then obviously your string is gonna be printed out. Just express that JS server has started and it's running on port number 3000. So that's what's gonna happen, man. Shh. Okay, and then as you can see here, you got Hello Universe, and then obviously I'm gonna inspect this. Hello Universe, and then yeah, so on and so forth. Reload page, and then I got my local host. So as you can see here, this is a debugger. I just debugged my stuff. I just debugged my stuff here. So I got size 304. So as you can see here, size 304, that's pretty much like one of the numbers that I have type documents, initiator size, and time. So I just, and then there's no throttling that takes place. So I didn't throttle my stuff. So my network has been throttled, as you can see here. And then navigator, anything that you want to discuss. navigate anything that you want to like discuss or pretty much deduce from this. Okay, I'll show you my main.js. Here you go. Right, so yeah. So no input navigator. No problem, man. No problem. Well, yeah, no problem. So thank you very much. Take care, take care, Lord bless, and thanks.